Hey guys, I thought I'll make a video after a long time. Just wanted to get into the basics initially. So I reposted the Industrial Revolution 4.0 so that you can grasp the things before fully going into the Industrial Revolution 5 concepts. I do have a couple of more videos already made on 5, but those were from the what do you say, the features perspective, like when you actually see a company which is already part of IRV or Industrial Revolution 5. There are two key concepts, basically the business agility, as in how fast they can respond to the changes happening. One such example would be the tariffs which were ongoing, right? With the tariffs ongoing from the US on the other countries, on the imports they are making, right? So, how soon these companies which were impacted to them changed their strategy, irrespective of the negotiation which went on, how soon they can be back to a leadership position within their industry arena. So, if they were successfully not impacted or noticeably not impacted by the highest of the highest tariffs, irrespective of it changes based on the negotiations or not, is a key factor which identifies that particular company in question to already be part of the industrial revolution fights. Right? So that's the agility perspective. How soon can you respond and not be impacted by any type of change, be it environmental changes, be it economic changes, be it governance changes, or be it the additional changes in the audit systems, all this part of this responses comes as part of basically the business agility part. So it's not so easy to change from top to bottom or bottom to top on respond to a major change such as the tariff which we went on. That is an example. So what I'm trying to say is such changes should be fastly responded to and adapted the entire manufacturing unit to their marketing strategy, to their selling strategies. All were impacted, right? If at all tariff stays very high, which is imposed by the US government. Ensuring that these impacts, at least, are negligible is the key uh, to remain competitive in the market. Apple is one company, I have to say. Although there were such tariffs implemented and it was governed, or say, they were more like advised to move their manufacturing units back to US. They stood firmly, or at least with the information what I know, maybe I might be completely wrong, but they are impacted, but their products would still be purchased because it is a niche market out there. Not There are not many companies who have the ecosystem which Apple provides to their consumers. Nor do there is such a innovation going on. Yeah, there are conflicting uh, opinions about the innovation what Apple does. But trust me, I being an Apple user, the quality of the products what they get and the hardware technology and the components that these hardware carry out is not in competitor with the other uh, mobiles or any device which Apple manufactures, right? It's not even competitive in nature. One is the durability of this. I've been using a couple of products for very long years. In fact, my first iPhone was a 5S, and I still have it in working condition, even if there are no updates, serviceable stuff updates for that. So even I have a iMac, not a iMac, Mac Mini maybe. Mac Mini is more like I have back from 2010. So even this, although the updates have stopped, there's no problem with the way the system is working, and it's durable. And coming to new devices, you get the softwares which has a proper ecosystem, and so iOS releases, iOS or Mac OS releases every year, and there are a lot to look forward to. There's always something useful that comes out of Apple. So there always innovation. There's always innovation. So this is where I was trying to get into as a conversation to point out that innovation. Sorry. Okay. Point out that. Innovation is the next trait, right? You keep continually innovating, and you secure your platform for selling products in such a way that there is no other external factors that can hamper your product's revenue or your innovations or your profitability, right? Even ServiceNow is one such company. It's niche again because ServiceNow has two releases every year, right? And every year there is something new. I know they come up with different marketing names for different concepts altogether, but it's their marketing strategy. I don't have to say anything on that. I don't want to get into conflicts also. But basically, they are niche. There's no competitor for them because of the various modules, workflows, and the applications they provide. They are a single company. Others are specifically limited to either customer experience or to ITSM. There are many applications out there which only sells ITSM workflows. There are also companies who only sell customer experience or CRMs, right? But ServiceNow is such a niche company which is put its hands and is spread across the complete enterprise applications, what is there. So I see that there is a lot of potential for ServiceNow because they are innovating and their product cost is comparatively on a higher side because there's no competition for them, right? And irrespective of the regulations, when you follow the best practice approach, you always get the positives there because your product is niche, you have placed yourself in a better way, and there's very least impact on any of the external things. It can also be the political changes, region-wise changes, but as a company, as a product company, when you place yourself into something niche, right? There's always bias. There's always seek your products. Plus, when you engage the best practices into it, I'm specifically talking about ServiceNow. ServiceNow is very far to have agile concepts, ESM concepts, or even agile, Scrum, SAFe. So they are clubbed all together, although they call it differently or use different terms. Again, I don't want to get into trouble, but basically it's all clubbed together. Names might be different, the concept is the same, and there are certain best practices additionally which they as a company might have added as a best practice addition, but when you sort of concentrate on all these factors, your product automatically becomes niche, right? So you have the business agility, you have the innovation, plus you are complying to all the best practices. What more do you need, right? Automating stuff is one thing because over a period of time, as we work, see, even I started with the contact centers to be precise, right? My growth has been in the initial almost one fourth of my current experience was always about taking calls and solving end user issues, right? I don't want to make it a low rated job, but it has its negatives, right? But learning curve is limited there, especially you handle customer day-to-day issues when maximum of them will be password resets. But over a period of time, we saw the service desk handling multiple technical issues, multiple complex issues, other than just customer experience, right? Now we have AI agents basically handling customer calls. That's a pretty good thing. But does this people in service desk go jobless? No, no. They'll be taking on something up next rather than spending time on calls with the consumers or the end users or even the enterprise users. They'll be handling a complex job, right? So this learning, supporting this learning, the learning curve is there, right? That should be tremendous, and any IRE based company or industrial revolution 5 based company should support that learning, right? Been part of many companies. I am sad to say that they all are inclined to their marketing strategies. So whatever you are learning you get from your company is limited to their strategy at a top layer, right? If, for example, if you are a product company niche to financial services, all the learnings that as a company stresses on the industry related concepts, but never on as a particular role you are handling there. There are no good companies, none actually, who would help you learn what is required for your job, what is required for you to grow up to the next position, right? They are pretty much hell bent on complying to what is the industry requirements, what is the industry the company projects to be. So it's all related to company on the whole and never related to you as an individual, what kind of role you are handling, what are the learning necessities that is required for your job, how you would help yourself excel. There are no companies which is handling that part. You go to a financial industry, they stress you on learning financial terms and financial related content. You go to a manufacturing company, they'll be specifically pointing out your learning on that specific manufacturing product which they are keen on releasing. All right. This helps maybe at a product owner level, product manager level as a product specialist, right? But when you come at different components which contribute to this product on the whole, there are very less, I would say none again. Now, none of the companies are actually concentrating on the roles and responsibilities you carry or the product you support in that job role which you are working on, right? There is no holistic approach as what you contribute from the bottom up, right? So that's where one thing is you as an individual has to get onto the continual learning mode while the company does the innovation and continual learning restricted to their specialization. You as an individual have to gather that continual learning approach and implement it on your roles and responsibilities and your work or your own career growth, right? But I have to call this continual learning is also a trait of the IRB related thinking. So there's so many things happening. You can see this mostly in the startup space, right? When there is a new regulation change, or when there is a new technology, like for example, consider this Apple's innovation itself. Every time there is a new hardware technology that comes out, Apple is spending quite a huge amount on the research and innovation needed to adapt that new technology into their new product, which releases every year. Again, I'm calling out Apple because every product they release in the market every year has many new hardware technologies implemented in it, which you wouldn't find in non-Apple devices, be it be anything. They are up to the standards in terms of innovation and adaptation compared to considering the new technologies that is being researched upon and implemented, right? That's one reason why their products are expensive because the technology becomes cheap only when the adaptability has increased. And Apple is the first one to adapt a new hardware technology, which makes the hardware cost a little expensive compared to the other products who are dwelling on older technologies or older concepts of working. That so what did I say? Business agility and innovation and continual learning and the adaptation. This was where I was coming about. Adaptation is something driven by the product owners, right? Now, initially, any product for the first time when it comes is expensive. It becomes cheap only when the related resources are aligned and available in the manufacturing or nearby the manufacturing areas so that the affordability cost reduces, right? As the cost of those parts are high, obviously the end product value will be high. The moment the cost of the product reduces, the end product will be a little comparatively less and increases the profitability to a greater extent, right? So when a new product is then being marketed highly, the pro- profit percentage is less because the cost is expensive because the resources needed is expensive for a new product to be launched unless you're using the resources which is already available at a low cost, right? So these are a couple of nuances. So the strategy makes a lot of things. The strategy of reuse of available materials, finding a alternate approach of best practices, still delivering quality is something the strategy contributes to. This strategy may be the placement of the manufacturing units at a specific unit. Why did Apple say that we are ready to just according to what I have read so far. So I'm not claiming Apple will continue doing its manufacturing in India. But in India, even if the tariffs are highest in US, Apple's profitability percentage reduces, but still it would be able to cater a less cost, manufacturing cost of their devices, basically. Right? So this is one example for strategy. And lastly, it is all about the uh, I would call being authentic and being honest and being transparent, right? It's a AI era, so most of the data is consumed and available, especially being in India. All my bank-related transactions are also accessible, especially because there are no rules and regulations. We dwell in India, especially my Aadhaar card number is available everywhere. I go to a hotel, I have to submit my Aadhaar card details. And although there are alternatives available now, but my data is already leaked. So it doesn't make any difference for me, even if I use a masked Aadhaar or unmasked Aadhaar, right? My data is already available, sold also. So that is a known fact. So the challenge is to be so authentic, honest, and transparent that these details, even if it is explicitly available, there is no harm in any way that happens to me as an organization, right? The issue comes to me when my organization's name is tainted, or basically my organization is accused of something which I shouldn't be doing. So being transparent, authentic, and managing the honesty across all transactions, across all decisions, across all strategic initiatives makes me, I would say, win the customer confidence, win the region-wise confidence, win the strategic wins also. Basically, the partner wins, the partner relationships, the strategic relationships which we as an organization have. And also, with the AI being there, it's very easy to interconnect details and get into a public forum and get into a lawsuit when AI is in the picture. Because the amount of data can be designed in such a way where it provides meaning, right? Somewhere a transaction has happened in a routine way. Basically, it can be linked. I'm specifically talking about bigger challenges at organization wide, as in maybe funding a terrorist campaign or maybe funding illegal action or an organization or a behavior. Excuse me. So, as a organization, I have a huge responsibility that I should manage all of this being authentic, transparent, and honest. Right? And with AI, there is access to everything, and that's where these tasks become a little sensitive because when I want to build a organization for a long time now, with all the criteria involved and make it big. The confidence in me as an organization from the external entities is important. It's not as small as a brand tinting, but basically can be at a wider area. What impacts me would be the confidence of the consumers and the uses of the product, right? So the more authentic, honest, and uh, authentic, honest, and transparent I am, I'm sure that's a human entity. Obviously, this three are there. People trust the brands, right? That's important. That's where there are certain niche things where IRB could get into, with AI having access to almost all data that and the transactions that happens from day to day basis, right? So that covers all the traits again. This was just an overview. So I would be touch basing industry wise, just like I don't know, been long since I made industry 4.0 concepts. I've done almost four or five industry sectors. So I'm not sure which industry sectors are left compared considering the industry revolution 4. I do have to go to my old drive and identify what sectors are left. If there are sectors left to carry out within part of Industrial Revolution 4, I'd be covering those concepts before delving into Industrial Revolution 5. And again, in the Industrial Revolution 5, I would visit each sectors. Basically, I had paid for some subscriptions related to the upcoming innovations. I had subscribed for some research papers also. So basically, I have a first-hand information of how these research teams can transform itself into a use case and to a product in the upcoming years, and how these will cater to the industry uh, 5.0. So stay tuned. I'm always a little worried when I'm using 5.0. It's a Roman numerical, which I have mentioned. Last time when I used 5.0 as in the numerical 5, there were certain conflicts and I got into trouble. So please consider this as this is no way related to sustainability and environmental protection. This is more of Industrial Revolution 5, as in the numerical 5, where we don't talk about environmental things or related to sustainability. Because in IRV, it's always about having maximum resource usage. So there are always alternative sources to use. And just like how Antarctica's glacier saw a 20% increase in the ice glaciers in the last 5 years, nature will fix itself. We as humans are very small, and uh, we are here to utilize the resources. God has made us in this way. That's the reason we ourselves can't recreate the resources available in the nature at a maximum volume, be it other than the carbon dioxide, right? So there are always alternatives. So we as humans are made to consume these resources and make things which are useful to us. And as we live and as we pass through Industrial Revolution 5 and come up with Industry 5.0, there will be many alternate resources which will come into use of humans, and we will try consuming it while the old resources gets resumed on its own by nature, right? With that, I end this podcast. It was good coming online after a very long time. Uh, Thank you all, and stay tuned. Do subscribe in any one of the uh, podiums. I'm on Apple Podcast. I'm on YouTube. I'm on what's that? Oh my goodness, Spotify. Yeah, and a couple of more places my podcast runs on. The easy way to access all the resources is to visit my website, lokeshlkm.com. And with that, I end this podcast. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye bye.